Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you guys a first-person replay commentary. This is a Windrunner game that I played 2 or 3 nights ago. This is very late. I think this was after my 9.5 hour stream. So if you guys are seeing this, you may have already watched the live video of it, but I know I didn't talk very much about Windrunner, and I haven't made a Windrunner video in a long time, I think. So, and I learned a lot over the last week. I actually played a lot of Windrunner games, like 4 or 5, something like that, and I'm starting to realize how weak of an offlaner she is. She honestly is not a very strong offlaner, and I'll talk about a lot of those points as we do the offlaning. But again, I already have a video up of the live video. I asked you guys on Twitter and Facebook if you guys wanted to see the live commentary, since it's on Skype with a bunch of cool people. I played with Blitz and Alliance EGM and Boomy, that's Alliance Ake's girlfriend, and my friend Memoria. So I played with a lot of friends on Skype here. And I thought you guys might want to see that perspective, but at the same time I commented virtually nothing, so you got no learning at all out of the Windrunner, other than seeing me just like relax and play a Dota game. But so I'll take the time now and I'll just talk about everything. So I decided I'll just upload both videos in the same day, and therefore whoever wants to watch one can watch one, whoever wants to watch the other can watch the other, and whoever wants to watch both. And I know there's some of you guys that did say that you wanted to watch both. You guys can watch both videos. So, alright, Windrunner as a hero. She used to be a really dominant offlane hero. She was picked very, very often, but as does normally happen with time, eventually people will discover the best ways to play against those heroes, and they'll stop picking them as much because their viability kind of goes down, basically. So I'm not playing Invoker this game. I'm just waiting for me to pick my hero here so I can select. That's weird. Why are all these players muted? Blitz has been muted, apparently. Auto-muted. I believe it's possible to be auto-muted if enough people mute you or something, or report you. I'm not quite sure. Unusual. Anyways, so the reason Windrunner is a little weak in the offlane, first of all, her starting HP is pretty low. Her armor is extremely low. I believe it's like 1 or something like that. And other than that, she's just really easy to kill. I mean, look at this, 435 HP. This is like almost as bad as what Caudle has. Like, she's literally 1 strength point stronger than Caudle. That's it. Very, very low. Her movement speed isn't the best either at 295. So these are her weaknesses. Really low HP. Her armor is really low. And most importantly, she's easily counterable. Windrun obviously does make you 100% evasive for 2.75 seconds. But what most people have learned to do is you come around with the support and you wait until she windruns, and then you hit her with Frostbite or Vengeful Spirit Stun or whatever nuke that you're working with at the time. You hit her with a nuke while windrun's active, and as soon as that's over, you're slow as every other hero in the game, and you should be able to be right-clicked down in a very short amount of time because you can't get a stout shield because you're ranged, and you're very slow, and or relatively slow, and you have no armor. So that's why things kind of suck. So I'll just talk about a couple aspects of that in a bit. So some of the other games that I played, I ended up going for a fast Tranquil Boots because I was trading a lot with our offlane harassed supporter. This game was a bit different because I believe, I think they did an aggressive dual lane, which was really weird. So I only had 1 support to deal with on the bot lane. I only had to deal with the Crystal Maiden and the Anti-Mage, so that made things in the decision-making a little bit easier. Most important thing that I'm doing right now is letting the range creep go first. The reason you want to let the range creep go first is because if that dies immediately, it won't get to do a full duration of damage. And this is the case if you guys ever played like Warcraft 3 custom games or StarCraft custom games. You always want the high DPS, low HP units to be in the back, because you want those to die preferably last, because they do the most damage over time. You want the tanks to be in the front. So if the damage dealer, the range creeps, by the way, do piercing damage, and all of the creeps HP is unarmored, I believe, based on Warcraft 3, which means that the range creeps do by far more damage per attack than a melee creep. By far. It does like twice the damage or something. So the range creeps are the main damage dealers. So if those end up dying immediately, as you can see, there becomes a creep disparity. And if there's a creep disparity, that means that the wave will push towards my tower. So luckily for me, I can play semi-aggressive here. I'm going for last hits, but me grabbing CS is not always the most likely thing. And I mostly just want to position myself based on where the Crystal Maiden is. There's no point for me to burn Windrun here. I'm absolutely okay with him casting Frostbite. I did end up taking a lot of damage because, again, I have absolutely crap armor, but I bought extra regen for this purpose. So Crystal Maiden uses Frostbite. I don't want to waste my mana on Crystal Maiden, or Crystal Maiden attacking me twice, so don't bother using it. And that's another really important lesson. First one is get the lane into your favor so you're actually getting experience. The second one is you have to be really careful with your mana. Now this becomes a little harder because of the Anti-Mage in the opposing lane. You'll see him do this later, but what he decides to do occasionally is blink on me and try to drain some of my mana by hitting me 3 or 4 times. After the first instance of this happening, I realized, okay, letting him drain my mana is obviously a horrible thing. I was really mad that it hit that creep, because otherwise I would have been able to get it, and unfortunately for me, my power shot wasn't able to get the CS, so there we go, wasting mana already. but it's really important that you keep your mana up. If you don't have 100 mana, you will die 100%, for example. This is the best skill build, in my opinion, for the offlane Windrun. You go Windrun to Power Shot. I know some pro players like grabbing a second level of Windrun for the extra time, as well as the enemy slow does double, which is pretty nice, but I know not everybody likes to do this. I Power Shotted for 1 creep, but he ended up pulling through anyways. I did get the range creep. And right here, I just wanted to make sure that I used Windrun, because I didn't want to let Crystal Maiden within range of me. I wasn't exactly sure how far away she was, but she was the hero that I needed to get away from. So, bam, I'm pretty much out of mana already, unfortunately. So I think I decided to pick up a Ring of Basilius at this point, and I also get a free range creep, which is not the worst thing ever. So, normally I'll go straight for a Tranquil Boots, but this game I decided to pick up the Basie. This is a more old school Windrunner build, just because the extra mana regen is pretty nice in the offlane. My int is still below 33, so it's totally fine to do this. And again, I'm going to let the range creep go through first. I don't know if this is actually needed or not right now, because it looked kind of like the wave equilibrium was in my favor, but here's an example of what just happened. I had 189 mana, Anti-Mage blinked in, I decided not to use Windrun because I was trying to be conservative, and then I just lost all my mana anyways. If I just would have used Windrun immediately upon getting hit, I possibly would have saved more HP and probably spent about the same amount of mana. So for the rest of this game, or at least in this offlane experience, what I ended up doing is just waiting for the blink, and then I would always use Windrun immediately. Another good thing about the Basilius is it does give me 6 damage, which means I have a much better chance of last hitting for now. So this is pretty important. The main reason that's scary to run out of mana again, because I need to use Windrun. I played one game a week ago where I was doing really good in the offlane, and then I ended up power shotting one too many times. I went below 100 mana. This is unfortunate. But I went below 100 mana. That was a bit of a waste. I think that one was not necessary. I thought he was going to hit me more, and then he actually backed off. But I went below 100 mana once, and then I just ended up dying anyways. So I think my early Windrun usage has actually not been very good. I thought I did better than this in the lane, but apparently not. Anyways, Basilius is picked up for the mana regen, for the +6 damage, so that I can last hit better, and all that good stuff. I'll grab Shackle Shot now. I always max Power Shot first with Shackle Shot second, and I skip my ulti until like a really long time. I think like 13, 14, 16. I really don't like getting it early because it's really mana expensive, and it's arguably one of the worst ultimates in the game. I do use it a couple times this game, but not very much.
Thank you.
But basically your early Windrunner experience should be focused on grabbing as much experience as possible. You either try to harass your opponent, or you try to get EXP for yourself and getting as many CS as possible. Fortunately, I was not prepared for that range creep, so I lose 1 CS. Should have gotten that one for sure. But I'm not doing too bad. You have to butter up both the catapult and the range creep to take tower shots, so I should be doing that every time they come into creep range, but I haven't been making the best decisions here. Screw that Ironwood branch. I now have 100 mana. It's pretty obvious that they're pulling, so I'm going to go see if I can contest that perhaps. There's the ogres going through. I don't know exactly... Did this fail? Oh, that's probably what happened. He frostbited that one ogre, so all the creeps ended up stopping anyways. So creeps will be back under control and they'll push towards me. Picking up a level 5 by 5 minutes is actually really good, so I was pretty happy with this. Despite burning through a lot of mana earlier. And I don't know where the Crystal Maiden is right now, so I have to be really careful about coming up to the creep wave. Because again, if Crystal Maiden gets completely behind me, I will die 100%. I'll get Frostbite and I can use Windrun, but it's probably not going to be enough to keep me alive. Especially if Anti-Mage is close to 6, which he is. He has a Clawing Blade as well, so he's going to be able to last hit a bit easier than me, but I will continue to trade hits with him if possible, or at least hit him. He does have a Poor Man's Shield if you guys didn't notice, so that means that every attack I do is reduced by 20 damage, which is why I do such a piddling amount. I was hoping to get a Anti-Mage with that, but... And sometimes it is worth spending 100 mana for a guaranteed 2 last hits, for example. It's pretty good to do that sometimes. Oh, I remember this part. Part was... Beast, man. Lina TP'ing the bot lane, I think. That's right. I think Boomy TP'd to the bot lane at this point, and she wanted a gank, but this is not really a possible gank at all. The only hero we could maybe kill is Crystal Maiden, and after we killed Crystal Maiden, Anti-Mage would kill at least one of us for sure, because we're both really low armor heroes. So I was not very happy about this gank coming through. I just told her to leave, basically, because it wasn't worth it. It's not worth chancing versus an Anti-Mage. Woohoo, last hits. So I'm up to 700 gold now. I could buy a magic stick. I could buy a phase boots soon. And I think I ended up going phase boots. Phase boots, this is honestly like the cookie cutter offlane Windrunner build. You get extra regen, you go to the offlane with a ring of protection, and then you make a Basilius, and then hopefully a phase boots. Depending on how well your CSing is. But it really is super important that you get the last hits under tower. If you can't get the last hits under tower, it hurts your offlane by a lot. Because I played a couple Windrunner games where I was having some trouble with CS, and it resulted in just like the latest items ever. Kind of sucked. So there we go. Burned Windrun because I knew that he was going to try to drain more mana otherwise. He loses 60 mana, I lose 100, plus he hit me once, so not the best trade, but whatever, I'm not dead, so could be much worse. And now they're kind of messing around with the Crystal Maiden, so I decided to shift over. And pretty easy power shot. Fortunately, I'm out of mana here. One little Snowl. Killing the Nether Ward is extremely important. I think it was at this point that I decided to ditch. Definitely not worth staying around anymore. Also, buying the phase boots from shop or from base instead of the side shop was another mistake. Definitely should have bought that from the side shop instead of the base. So I'm gonna buy items. Oh, that's right. He almost juked that one out. But I think I did okay there. I was able to shackle the Crystal Maiden. Shackle's a little tough, but once you play Windrunner enough, it's easier to land shackles, but you just have to watch the trees, basically. I'm gonna come to show up to this fight, especially because I right-click pretty well. Oh yeah, the reason why the Nether Ward is so nasty is because pretty much every hero on our team does a lot of magic nuke. So basically we cast spells that end up doing a lot. So killing the Nether Ward is a huge deal, very important.
Radiant's top tower is under
That's really nice banish there. It's gonna salve him here just to keep his HP up in case we had a fight. And we're kind of just running around with our entire team for whatever reason. God, that did so much damage. Alright, at this point I was like, okay, I'm not accomplishing anything. Bot lane's pushing, I'll go grab some solo XP. So I should be able to do some damage to Anti-Mage now that I have the phase boots. I tested out a right click here and I was actually pretty surprised it did good damage. Also getting the phase boots up is super important for the fact of last hitting. It makes a big difference. Having an extra 24 damage. Actually hitting for 97, looks like. I think they were talking, so I was distracted and looking mid. So now I get to buy a magic wand and then go towards a force staff most likely. Early force staff is a very common Windrunner offlane build right now. Or at least when she was played in the last situations. Last time she was played, it was always a force staff first. But a long time ago, it was always mech first, basically. You'd go phase with a Basilius, you'd get a mech, and then you would get maybe a force staff afterwards. But people would start rushing towards the force staff because you could save an ally from a clockwork. Clockwork was really popular, for example. You could save somebody with a force staff really easily, and lots of other heroes. And also it gave more damage. It would do, what, 20 damage? Not only does 10 with a little bit of HP regen, but it's still pretty good. Unfortunately, I let him drain me once there. And then I kind of wasted Windrun. But I got 3 attacks on him, whatever. So I'll just play safe for a bit. I do have a TP scroll in case things go bad for my allies. And I've got a full wand picked up now, so. was considering TPing for this one.
Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
And I was like, hey, these actually do a lot of damage.
I steal from the slow.
But basically every last hit that I can deny from anti-mage is a pretty big deal. So one less last hit than free farm, so.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Looks like
attack.
the enemy team is actually grouping up to push, or fight bottom, that is. This free gold is really good. Alright, and I decided to finally show up. I probably should have power shotted that one. Unfortunately, the power shot missed. I definitely should have power shotted while he was shackled, though. My idea was that anti-mage has a crap load of magic resistance. If we actually check, I'm gonna live here, but he actually does have 3 levels, so his magic resistance is pretty high right now. But it would have done okay damage. I would have done probably like 150, 200 damage or something, which is not bad. So I was going to go back to base, but then the creep wave was pushing in, so I said, okay, free EXP, free gold. But I definitely should have power shotted, I think. Thinking about it afterwards. I thought I would, for some reason I thought I would just catch him after a follow-up from someone else, but it didn't happen. Take one more wave here. That should put me up to probably 1,000 gold, so I'll get like an extra, another staff out of that. Damn.
Radiant's middle tower is under
I noticed my
attack.
jungling was like very significantly faster with phase than tranquil, though. It really does make a big difference. It's usually pretty important to grab as much EXP as possible and gold before you do end up going back to your base, by the way. Even though my HP is a little low, as long as I'm not playing against like a Spirit Breaker or something like that, I don't have to worry too much about getting killed. So I'll just power shot an extra wave that gives me an extra 150 gold or so, and that'll buy me Staff of Wizardry as well as the TP, which are the 2 next items that I want, definitely. I would recommend buying the staff before the Ring of Regen if you're going for a 4 staff. I think a Ring of Regen as an item is pretty crappy by itself. And yeah, I don't have any base regen items, but just with smart play, kiting neutrals and stuff like that, and going to base once in a while, I should have enough regen to just sustain things. Luckily I had a 4 staff, so he's going to be just fine here. My HP is still really low, though, so I do have to be pretty careful. And again, I want to TP to the tier 2 because I don't want to go to the tier 1 in case somebody needs it.
Regeneration.
Able to land a power shot on the Pugna. We do have an OD here, which means that if we cast spells, we have a chance of getting a bunch of mana. So we're definitely going to be happy to cast stuff if
Radiant's
possible.
bottom tower is
And I
under
just kind of wanted to sit here because there's still a lot of heroes on the map. I could go jungle or something like that, but spending some time mid is not the worst thing in the world.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And now things have devolved a bit. Looks like some action on the bot lane actually, so I'm going to bring myself a TP
Radiant's
scroll.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, this looked really bad. Except for that he missed a Sunstrike. I really need to kill the ward. This is bad position from the Pugna. And it's totally fine to take a nuke. Again, the Nether Ward was down, so I don't want to cast too much, but if I can get a Shackle off, guaranteed, then it's absolutely worth casting a Shackle. And once I land the Shackle, it's really easy to pick off the Pugna. I don't know if this game just went well because my opponents had bad positioning or what, but I just saw the Shackles this game. They were so easy. I was like, oh, it's a Shackle.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's an Elder Titan coming. So basically my mistake there was I wasted a wind run. I used a wind run while it was already disabled, which meant that I had no outstanding movement speed when it actually ended. So if you do get frostbite, if I'm not against an anti-mage or something, I really don't need to use a wind run. I should have saved a wind run until the frostbite ended, and then I could have ran away. I knew that I could just stand there, and the Elder Titan was actually going to miss, but if I just honestly would have saved a wind run, I would have survived 100%. Pretty sure, at least. So whatever, I was able to buy out before I died at least, so I got my Ring of Regen, but I lost about 70 gold, and I gave them some EXP and some gold. So obviously a mistake, but not too bad. So you have to think a lot when you play Windrunner, basically. You have to think about what your opponent's tools are, and like what their highest damage sources are, and like how to shackle, and when to shackle. It's not very easy. She's definitely a very high skill cap hero. Most games I have a lot of trouble with her even. I feel like she's useful, but I never really feel like I do enough to make the game easy for us, basically.
A mind prepared.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So we were able to get the Windrunner, or the Invoker kill. Like, why would that guy be there, you know? Like, obviously that's going to give me an opportunity to make a play, but I used Windrun to try to position myself better. You don't want to just, like, throw a shackle from range, because you can't control the vector as well. If you get in close, you can control what the vector is going to be, and it gives you a better chance of getting a shackle shot. I power shotted there to check for some heroes, and nobody was there. Again, I lost no mana. I almost TP'd the bot lane, but then it was cancelled because OD was going, so I said, okay, I'll just cancel. I'll go farm top. I thought the OD was going to farm top, and I was going to farm the off lane. So I run to the top lane, going to queue up my Force Staff now, and we'll see if we can do anything against the anti-mage. He ended up backing up, so back to last sitting. Boy, was he dead. Oh, damn, there's a lot of guys coming.
Regeneration!
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The mini stun was not really needed. Alright, I did buy my force at least. But their whole team was there. I didn't really know that.
We're finally getting somewhere.
I think no matter when I used my window in there, I was definitely going to die. So I'm dead for a bit. But regardless, 20-minute Force Staff is about what I got in some of my other games. This time I had Phase as well as a Basilius. In some of the other games, I just had a Tranquil Force Staff, and then I would disassemble the Tranquil to make the Force, I believe. Because you can use the Ring of Regen. You can disassemble the Tranquil to get a Ring of Regen out and put that into the Force Staff. So I would have like Brown Boots and Force Staff about 20 minutes on the games where I played bad. This game, I'm a little ahead of that, so I'm probably like about 1,000 gold ahead of that, basically. More like 1,200, yeah. So it's quite a bit. I'm quite a bit ahead of where I am in a bad game, but this is a pretty good early game, I would say. 20 minutes, I've got 4 in Shackle Shot, my most important skill. I've got 4 in Power Shot, which is my main damage dealer. I've got Phase Boots for right-clicking, and my Windrun has enough levels. We're decently positioned, we're about the same points. We're about as strong as the opponents, basically. I saw the opportunity, so I just forced forward. So it worked out really well. Again, sacrificing some HP here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Double kill.
Dire's bottom tower.
And that's one of the reasons why Force Staff ends up being really useful, because it allows you to position for shackle shots.
Double damage.
So anti-mage burns his ulti on me. That was pretty stupid. He kept attacking me after the wind run, or at least once, and he hadn't drained enough mana, not even close. Especially if I would have wanded before he ended up ulting me. So now I'm going to continue farming. Wow, Anti-Mage is literally still bottom. What is this guy wasting his time on? I had no idea he was down there so long. I'm going to go fight mid, at least. Didn't get her. In other words, so annoying. Luckily we had like a billion mana sources, but if it wasn't for that, it would have been much more frustrating. Really good power shot, as you guys can see. And again, we're just going to kind of look for a slow push until we have opportunities from Shackle, basically. I'm kind of like our initiator, in a way. I can throw a Shackle if it misses, it's not too bad. We did see that we were in the Nether Wards, so pretty easy kill here. And once the Nether Ward's down, we can actually really try to secure kills. Just going to force staff him forward to make sure that he gets out of danger a bit faster. Just having enough force staffs on the team, we have 2 now, just allows you to make a lot less mistakes. Or affords you to make more mistakes, I guess.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Looks like
attack.
he got the Crystal Maiden.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Again, force staff him outside of the range.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Bit of an unnecessary stun. I could have saved that for Invoker, I think.
It's the Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Used Wind Run to get in position again. I got the high ground vision. But that time I basically used it for the slow. The slow is 24%, which is not too bad. It's a pretty weak disable, but I got in position. I was able to tank the tower from it. And we were able to follow up with more nukes. So I didn't get a shackle off on a creep. I was looking for it, obviously, but I didn't. But basically, we're just outplaying them. I think the Anti-Mage should be a lot more farm than this. His farm could have been better. He wasted a lot of time on the bot lane, but now we're able to go high ground, which is great. We missed. It's a really dead hero.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And then the ward crushed us that fight.
Is under attack.
We decided at this point that we actually did have to go back. So. Can't let Boomy take all the farm, guys. I mysteriously have 3,000 gold now, which is pretty good. With this gold, I can go for a Sheep Stick next. Sheep is really good against Anti-Mage. Just a hard disable, prevents him from escaping. Could make an Orchid as well if I really wanted to, but Sheep is usually the better choice by far, just because it's a lot more reliable disable, as well as it gives you a little bit of HP. Orchid is great against AM, honestly. Really good item against AM, but you can. I mean, Sheep also stops things like Euls, for example. So Invoker did Euls himself before. He can't do that. He can do that if he's silenced. He can't do that if he's hexed. So I'll just go heal. At this point, in a normal game, if I was a little behind or if I felt squishy, I would pick up an Ultimate Orb for survivability first. Because I would be worried about dying. But since we're pretty far ahead and I felt comfortable in our team fight and we're pretty good at staying alive, I decided to pick up a Mystic Staff first. The benefits of this are you get a lot more mana because you get plus 25 int. You also get plus 25 damage, which is pretty significant for a right click. I tried to force staff through, unfortunately I didn't make it. But. So 25 damage, you get a lot more int. Technically you get mana regen. Also, the aura proc from the OD now does a higher percentage of my mana pool because it heals or restores mana based on a percentage of your mana pool. So this should make me more, give me more mana overall as well. But basically, I want to make a sheep. Sheep is really useful, and despite again not having any HP regen items, just having somebody with a mech really makes you strong.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So we saw the ward at least. I'm pretty sure that was Power Shot that gave me the vision. That's what it seemed like.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Man, that ward is so annoying.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Totally did that not on purpose, guys. It's one illusion, guys. There's so much damage.
Triple kill.
Got him.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
We had so much trouble clicking on this guy.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
So we're basically just winning because we have better early game heroes, honestly.
Radiant's middle
I mean, OD
barracks
obviously
are
does have a
under
sheep, but none of our heroes really need any more farm, whereas Anti-Mage obviously needs like an item or two before he actually becomes useful, and our carry actually does something. So
attack. Radiant's middle barracks
our lineup ended
has
up working out
fallen.
pretty nicely.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Sometimes I just like using it for the mini stun, honestly. Oh god, the nukes.
Radiant's
I still got
bottom
nailed.
tower is under attack.
That was hot.
Triple kill.
Number one.
Worked out. So if you use the Shackle for the mini stun, it stuns for 0.75 seconds no matter what, by the way. So it always stuns, and if you stun like that, then you can do a power shot for sure. I think it takes, yeah, it takes about a second to charge this up, so it just gives you a reliable nuke, even if you don't do a Shackle shot. There it is, guys, I used Focus Fire. Are you proud of me? First time. Focus Fire reduces your damage by 30%, and then you get max movement speed, or max attack speed. So it's pretty good for focusing targets, but usually in a team fight, you're going to be changing targets often, so you don't always want to use it. In fact, I very rarely do end up using it.
Radiant's bottom
Positioning is
barracks
almost always more important.
has fallen.
God, that Nether Ward is so good.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He dodged that with his Manta here.
Thou art damned.
That was really close. Pretty easy Shackle. It would have hit a tree even if the creep wasn't there, I believe. Who's this now, Rubik? Luckily he has Blink, so he's going to be okay, I think. The other really nice thing about Sheep is the mana regen. 150% mana regen means that I'm much more likely to... See this Focus Fire, guys? Does AM have ulti?
Dire's
He
middle
does not.
tower is under attack.
God, if he had ulti, I was so dead.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I knew he was going to blink, though. Okay, guys, I knew he was going to blink. Into the trees. If the Crystal Maiden wasn't there, maybe I could have worked his HP down a bit more, but I really don't do that much DPS to him. His armor's probably ridiculous at this point. It's not too bad, 15. That looks like a dead Caudle. Oops. Clicked on the wrong hero.
Double damage.
Alright, and at this point I was like, alright guys, we're gonna win. We took a 2 racks, so let's buy some ridiculous items. So I decided to buy Vlad's. We have exactly 0 melee heroes, so you guys might be really wondering why I bought a Vlad's, but let me explain it this way. I already had a Ring of Basilius. A Vlad's is a natural upgrade from Basilius, and they give approximately the same thing, which is you get bonus damage, you get aura lifesteal if you're melee, which none of us are melee, so we don't get any lifesteal. It gives you 5 armor to yourself and your allies, and it gives you slightly more mana regen per second at point 8, which I really don't need that component at all. Then basically the main reason I purchased it is for the 5 armor.
Sorry, sister, but you needed void.
Did they get him? Oh man, he actually...
Radiant's
Dang, I
middle
didn't realize he
tower is under
survived.
attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I thought he was gonna die for sure. This Invoker being annoying.
Oh, you're hot.
Now I know exactly where he was the whole time. So yeah, anyways, I got the Vlad's basic kit for the 5 armor. It's really good for your allies. Anti-Mage does pretty much all physical damage. His illusions do physical, the Mana Burn does physical. It's a crap load of physical damage, and if you grab something like a Vlad's and you give your allies 5 extra armor, it's pretty cool. Now, in all seriousness, if this game was extremely serious, I would probably grab like an Orchid instead, or I would use the 3,000 gold to do something else. The Ghost Scepter is fine, I think, personally, because I can now use this if Anti-Mage ever initiates on me and uses Manta. I can just use that instead of Windrun, but it basically just gives me 2 options now instead of just having one before. So Ghost Scepter is fine. Vlad's is questionable, but I basically just purchased it because it was a natural upgrade. I would have had to sell my Basilius otherwise, and I decided that I wanted to just give my team more armor. So team gets 5 armor, more survivability for everybody. It's better than 2, basically. And it does give slight damage, honestly. Like, it gives, what, 15% bonus damage? So 15% of my 147 is now in damage, which is like, it's like 22 damage to myself. It gives a crap load of damage to OD. It gives 30 damage to OD. It gives like 15 to Keeper, and 15 to Lina, and 15 to Rubik, basically. I think we had a gem at this point.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
See this focus fire, guys?
Radiant structures are fortified.
This looks like a GTFO circumstance. Fortunately, I didn't shackle him. The last hit was able to kill me. I think I Ghost Sceptered a little too early, and I phased before Windrunner was done, which is possibly a mistake as well. So maybe could have escaped from that. It's hard to say. Definitely didn't want to go through the ice wall, that's for sure. But I ended up dying. So I could have made an Orchid instead. I could have made work towards like a Shiva's Guard, would have been okay. I could have made a BKB maybe. BKB would stop me from Nether Ward. It would have stopped me from Anti-Mage Mana Drain. It would have stopped me from anything Invoker pretty much does except for right clicks, or uses right clicks from Forged Spirits. So again, a bit of a joke item build, but whatever. Like you don't have to always assume that getting Vlad's is a terrible thing. Like, it is occasionally worth it to get Vlad's on support heroes that are ranged. Like, Chen, for example, getting a Vlad's on him isn't terrible because the 5 armor to himself and his creeps helps you push. That's another reason I can get 5 armor to my creeps instead of 2 armor. This increases their survivability by a lot.
Invisibility.
guys. The CM was here this whole time.
Sorry, sister, but you needed void.
What have I done wrong?
I really want to kill the nether ward there. I was able to work him down eventually.
Take
my
not
advice.
the same
Stay
without
dead.
me.
Focus fire. See this, guys? We like really needed to kill this guy.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
My shackle was pretty late there. Don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch him. I was hoping for maybe like a creep shackle or something. Oh, nice way to get him. I just like really enjoyed playing this part. Really felt on. It's good being able to make smart decisions in a team fight. And most importantly, just continuing to right click is a really big deal for me because I'm hitting for 200 now. So like even the Invoker, who's a fairly farmed hero, just like right clicking him constantly makes a huge impact. And I probably should have been a little careful. Some of my shackles were really shot in the darks. Found a gem. I was like, hey, a gem. I was like, no wait, I'm gonna sell this. This also allows me to purchase the best item in the game, which is an Ethereal Blade. Okay, cool. This is definitely not a serious item. Do not get Ethereal Blade on Windrunner. It's not good. It is not strong.
Is under attack.
But it does give you a lot of agility, which in a lot of ways is wasted. Number one, when you use Focus Fire, you attack at max attack speed anyway, so grabbing an agility item does literally nothing for you when you Focus Fire, except for give you armor. And yeah, my armor is now higher because I have a 40, well, this gave me basically 33 agility. I basically got 33 agility out of this, which is like 7 armor or something like that. So okay, I'm more survivable against anti-mage and Invoker right clicks and stuff like that, but it's honestly not very good. But damn it, we're gonna win this game, so I decided to have fun.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top barracks are under attack.
I tried so hard to right click this.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
The illusion killed me. It's so sad. I almost made it. Oh, did I have Windrun again? Damn. Did I really?
Dire's top barracks
No.
are under attack.
No way.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's ancient
I think I might have had
is
Windrun
under
again.
attack. Dire's top barracks are under attack. Radiant's ancient is under attack. Dire's top barracks are under attack. Radiant's ancient is under attack.
I return to the outer dark.
He's all dead. I'll check my Windrun cooldown in a second.
Slip to the outer dark.
But boy, did I kill that nether ward, right guys?
Radiant's ancient is under attack.
Not enough.
Radiant's ancient is under attack. Radiant's ancient is under attack.
man, Hero's doing a really good late game. What items does he have?
Felt was my intellect.
Radiant's dire
Can't look. So we ended up winning the game. A lot of this win, I think, was that our team was pretty smart at just staying together and people didn't get picked off, and we kind of just would find their mistakes and punish them.
What a surprise.
Yeah, he really didn't have that many items, and he was doing really, really good damage there. But that's what happens when Elder Titan gets 4 levels of his aura. It does so much damage. Alright, let's try to find that point
Radiant's ancient
where
is
I
under attack.
died. Actually, it's...
Harbinger of bad.
Alright, I did not have it, so... Haha, no mistake. Alright, cool. So that's the end of the game. That's Windrunner, guys. And, can we look at the scoreboard? Okay, it looks like we have to watch this no matter what. Explosion and end of the game. Alright, cool. So that's Windrunner. Off lane, try not to die. Conserve your mana. If you do use your mana, make sure that you use it for really efficient trades. Like, if a support is behind a tree and I can get like 4 right clicks on them, you can shackle them. Power shot for creeps, if possible, preferably while also harassing your opponents. Usually you can do this more efficiently by being outside of vision range. Like, a lot of the times I power shotted for those 2 creeps when anti-mage is close to them. I was within vision range. If I would have backed up a little bit and then power shotted, he went to see in the wind up, and then I would have gotten 2 CS and harassed the anti-mage. So try to make your mana really efficient. Don't feed, and then try to get your 4 staff by at least like 20 minutes. I'm sure you could get it a lot faster if you're a pro level player, but I'm not that good at last sitting. So if you can get about yours by 20 minutes, I'm sure you're doing a great job. So 4 staff by 20, show up to team fights, try to make shackles happen. Make sure you see the shackles before you throw them. Don't just guess on them all the time. If you just try to guess on your shackles constantly, then you're going to miss them. And it honestly takes a lot of practice to get really good at shackles. So play more Windrunner games if you guys want to land shackles more. And other than that, have good teammates. That helps a lot too. So, Unkill Another Word, man. That ability is really, really nasty against a lot of lineups. So, okay, that's Windrunner. I hope you guys enjoyed the 2 videos. And you can go follow me on Facebook or Twitter at Purge Gamers. That's facebook.com/PurgeGamers or twitter.com/PurgeGamers if you want to see the things that I write in my free time. If you guys have questions about Dota that are simple, don't ask me a question like, how do I become a better carry? Don't ask me that question. Ask me a question like, do you feel like Lina is relevant to the metagame or something? That is like a more direct question with a short answer. If you ask me like I have to answer in 140 characters, you know what I mean? So, okay, ask me questions, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.